The Aurora drifted silently through the black of space. Its silver hull reflected the faint light of distant stars. Inside, the hum of engines and soft beeps from consoles were the only sounds. Captain Olivia Grant sat in the command chair, watching the navigation screen. The nebula ahead glowed in soft purples and greens. It was beautiful, but it was also strange and dangerous. This part of space had not been mapped in decades. "We are approaching Sector 9, said Ethan Cole, the xenobiologist. He pointed at a cluster of unusual energy readings on his tablet. "These signals do not match anything in the database. It could be a new star system. Or," he hesitated, "something else." "Something else?" Laura King asked. She was the ship's security officer. Her eyes narrowed. "Like trouble?" "Maybe," Ethan said calmly. He always spoke as if danger could be studied like a plant or an animal. "We should be careful." Nate Carter, the young engineer, tapped nervously at his console. "I hope careful is enough. Last time we went into a strange sector, the engines overheated twice." Olivia gave a small smile. "We take precautions. That is all we can do. Keep scanning. No surprises." The crew continued their work in quiet tension. Suddenly, the ship shuddered. The lights flickered. Alarms went off. "Report!" Olivia demanded. "We've been hit," Nathan yelled. "Energy discharge. Non-lethal." "But it disabled the engines." "How is that possible?" Laura exclaimed. "We are in empty space." "Look," Ethan said. He pointed to the main screen. A massive ship appeared out of nowhere. It was unlike anything they had seen. It shimmered and changed shape, as if it were alive. Its hull looked like dark crystal, and it had long spires reaching into space. A strange glow pulsed along the edges. A message suddenly appeared on every console. A voice, deep and musical, filled the bridge. It was alien, but somehow understandable. "Humans," the voice said. "You are in forbidden space. Identify yourselves. Explain your presence." Olivia swallowed. "This is Captain Olivia Grant of the Aurora. We are on a research mission. We mean no harm. Please, explain your demands." The bridge went silent. Then, the voice spoke again. "You have committed a crime against the Veshari Dominion. You will be taken for judgment." "Judgment?" Ethan asked. "What crime? We have not touched anything here." "You know what you have done," the voice said. "Prepare to be boarded." Before anyone could react, the ship shuddered again. A blue field surrounded the Aurora, holding it in place. The engines could not move. The crew tried to resist, but it was useless. "I told you we should have been careful," Nate whispered. "Stay calm," Ethan said. "We do not know their intentions yet. Violence may make this worse." The walls of the bridge shimmered. Suddenly, figures appeared in the air, as if stepping out of thin space. They were tall, graceful, and insect-like. Their armor reflected the lights, and their weapons glowed softly. They did not fire, but they raised them at the humans. "Stand down," one of them said. "You are under arrest. Follow instructions." Olivia raised her hands. "Everyone, stay calm. We comply for now." A hologram appeared in the middle of the bridge. A tall figure, taller than any human, floated above the floor. Her silver eyes glowed. Her armor seemed grown from living material, sharp and elegant. A crown of crystal floated above her head. "I am Queen Lyra of the Veshari Dominion," the hologram said. Her voice was calm but full of power. "Humans, you have trespassed and taken what was not yours. Answer me. Why are you here?" Olivia spoke. "Queen Lyra, we do not know what you mean. We are researchers. We have taken nothing. We are explorers. We do not wish to fight." Queen Lyra's eyes narrowed. Words are not enough. Your presence alone is an offense. You will be taken to Vishari territory. There, humanity will be judged. Judged? Laura asked, fear creeping into her voice. On what grounds? We did nothing wrong. Your kind carries a legacy of destruction, Queen Lyra said. You may not see it yourselves, but the galaxy remembers. Ethan stepped forward. I will speak for humanity. We are not monsters. We may be flawed, but we do not come to harm others without cause. Queen Lyra's gaze turned toward him. You speak boldly, human, but words do not erase history. Prepare yourself. Your reply will be tested. Quote, Olivia stepped closer to Ethan. Be careful, she whispered. This is not a negotiation. They could destroy us with a thought. The alien soldiers moved closer, forming a circle around the humans. The Queen's hologram floated above them, studying every expression. Ethan Cole, she said. When we arrive in Veshari territory, you will give your answer. It must satisfy me. If it does not, your planet may face the consequences. Ethan nodded slowly. I understand. The ship began to move without the engines. The Aurora was being pulled by a force they could not resist. Outside, the stars streaked as they traveled faster than they thought possible. Nate's hands shook as he held the console. I did not sign up for being a prisoner of aliens, he muttered. None of us did, Laura said, but panicking will not help. Ethan stared at the hologram of Queen Lyra. He felt the weight of the future pressing on him. She was not just a leader. She was a symbol of an entire empire, a civilization that had survived for thousands of years, and she now saw him as the voice of all humanity. The journey through space was long and silent. The crew was confined to quarters, and even their private areas were monitored. They ate quickly, slept fitfully, and waited. Every so often, the Queen's voice came through the system, reminding them of the pending judgment. Prepare, human, she said. Your moment will come. Ethan could not sleep. He walked to the observation window, looking at the stars rushing past. He thought of Earth, of its cities, its oceans, its mountains. He thought of humans he had met. Some kind, some cruel, all flawed, but alive. We cannot let them judge us by our worst, he whispered. We can only show who we are now. Laura came to stand beside him, and if they do not accept that, then we will face it, Ethan said. But we must try. We cannot give up before we speak. Nate peeked through the corridor. I still do not like this, he said. I have a bad feeling about the Queen. She is something else. Ethan smiled faintly. She is a ruler. She has seen more wars than we can imagine. She fears what humans might become. We have to give her a reason to hope, not to fear. Days passed as the Aurora was pulled through hyperspace. The crew learned to live under alien observation. Small things became dangerous. Any mistake could provoke the Queen. Ethan studied the sensors, hoping to understand the alien technology, looking for anything that could help them explain themselves when the time came. Finally, the Aurora emerged near a giant star surrounded by a glowing ring. Massive structures floated in orbit, alive in appearance, growing like coral in the void. The Aurora was escorted to a docking station. As the ship connected, the alien soldiers appeared again. Their movements were fluid, precise, and frighteningly calm. Ethan felt their power in every gesture. This is it, Laura said softly. No more traveling. We will meet her soon. Queen Lyra's hologram appeared in the docking chamber. Her presence filled the space. Humans, she said, her voice echoing. Prepare to give your answer. The eyes of the galaxy are upon you. Ethan took a deep breath. He knew that this moment would decide much more than their fate. It might decide the future of humanity in the galaxy. We will speak truth, he said, even if it frightens you. The Queen tilted her head, silver eyes gleaming. We shall see. The humans were escorted off the Aurora. The alien world stretched before them, strange, vast, and alive. Every step they took was watched, measured, and judged. Ethan felt the weight of the countless lives on Earth resting on his shoulders. He knew the Queen demanded an answer, and the answer must be honest. Not clever, not pleading. It had to be human. The part ended with Ethan looking at the alien Queen, standing tall before him, a force of nature and judgment, and he realized that words alone might have to save them. The silence between them was louder than any weapon. The humans were led down long corridors of the alien ship. The walls glowed with soft light, flowing like liquid. The air smelled strange, metallic, but not unpleasant. Alien guards moved around them silently, their steps making no sound. Ethan walked between Laura and Nate, trying to stay calm, but his mind raced. He knew Queen Lyra would ask him questions soon. Questions that might decide the future of humanity. They reached a chamber that felt different from the rest of the ship. It was round, with high ceilings and walls covered in moving patterns of light. A figure waited inside. He was smaller than Queen Lyra, and his movements were slower, more careful. Welcome, Ethan Cole, the figure said. I am Cyril, advisor to Queen Lyra. I have been asked to explain some things to you before your meeting with the Queen. Ethan nodded. Cyril gestured to a table that rose from the floor. Holographic images appeared above it, showing worlds burning, cities falling, and strange ships moving through space. Long ago, Cyril began, a dangerous species threatened the galaxy. Their power was unmatched. They destroyed entire civilizations. Many races joined to fight them, and eventually, they were defeated. Or at least, they were sealed away. Ethan stared at the images. The destruction was real, the scale terrifying. Humans did this? He asked, confused. Not humans as you are now, Cyril said. But your species shares genetic markers with the destroyers. The galaxy has records of your ancestors. Some believe the same patterns of violence could appear again. Ethan's stomach sank. He had studied genetics, but this was beyond anything he had imagined. So, we are being judged for crimes we did not commit? Partly, Cyril said. Partly for fear. We cannot know what will happen. The Queen believes it is safer to test your intentions before allowing your species into the galaxy freely. Laura frowned. So they think we are dangerous because of the past, not our actions? Yes, Cyril said. But not all fear is wrong. Humans have history. They have hurt each other and others. The difference is, you can choose to be better. That is what the Queen will test. Nate whispered. I feel like we are walking into a trap. Perhaps, Ethan said quietly, but running will not help. We must answer honestly when asked. After a moment, the hologram shifted. Images of human history appeared. Wars, battles, revolutions, and also moments of compassion. Humans helping each other after disasters, treating the sick, saving strangers from danger. The Queen will not ignore history, Cyril said. She sees the worst and the best. She wants to know which side defines you now. Cyril. 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 Ethan nodded. He thought of his childhood city, damaged by earthquakes, fires, and crime. He remembered neighbors helping neighbors, strangers giving food to those in need, doctors risking their lives. We try to be better, he said. Even when we fail, we try again. Cyril studied him. That is why she chose you to speak. She believes humans may be capable of change, but she must be certain. End quote. Cyril. End quote. End quote. End quote. Just then, the doors opened. Queen Lyra entered the chamber, walking as if the floor were hers. Her silver eyes focused on Ethan. She did not speak immediately. She observed him, as if seeing through his thoughts. "Ethan Cole," she said finally, "I will ask you questions. Answer truthfully. I will not be persuaded by lies or excuses." Ethan bowed slightly. "I understand." Queen Lyra's gaze swept the room. "Your people have grown strong. They have spread into space rapidly. Some call this curiosity. Others call it dangerous ambition. Tell me, human, what is your purpose?" Ethan paused. He thought about humanity's history, its mistakes, and its achievements. "We want to explore," he said, "to learn, to survive, and to help each other. Sometimes we fail. Sometimes we succeed. We are not perfect, but we try to grow." Queen Lyra's expression did not change. "And what if your growth brings harm to others? What if your people take what does not belong to them, as your ancestors did?" Ethan felt the weight of the question. "We can make mistakes," he admitted, "but we can also choose to fix them. We learn from pain, from loss, from what we do wrong. That is what separates us from monsters. Monsters only take and destroy. We try to repair, to help, even when it is hard." The Queen's eyes narrowed slightly. "And what about fear, human?" "We teach," Ethan said. "We educate. We create laws. We help each other understand consequences. It is not perfect. Some humans will fail, but we do not ignore failure. We face it. We change. We note ignore. We note ignore. We change. We note ignore. We note ignore. We note ignore." Queen Lyra tilted her head. "Words are easy. Deeds are harder. Can you prove your people are different?" Sorel gestured. The chamber transformed. Holographic images of a crisis appeared. A transport ship filled with refugees from several species, caught near a star about to go supernova. Explosions and heat waves were visible. "This is your test," Sorel said. "You will make decisions. Your choices will be observed. The Queen will judge humanity by them." Ethan felt his heart tighten. "How can this be real?" "It is not real," Sorel said. "But the simulation is based on real physics, real consequences. Your decisions here will show the Queen your intentions." Laura and Nate watched anxiously as Ethan was connected to the simulation controls. He could see the ships, the refugees, the danger. Fuel was limited. Shields were weak. He could not save everyone. "I have to choose," Ethan whispered. "I cannot save them all, but I must try to save as many as possible." The simulation began. Ships screamed across space. Fire and energy waves threatened to destroy everything. Ethan directed rescue ships, deciding which refugees to reach first. He spoke to them, even in simulation, asking for cooperation, encouraging them to follow safety paths. "We cannot all make it," he said, "but we will try. We will not give up. We will not give up. We will try. We will not give up. We will try. We will not give up. We will not give up. We will try. We will try. We will not give up. We will try." He diverted resources to ships that were closer and easier to reach. He sent instructions to others to navigate themselves, even if they might fail. Every decision was a balance between saving lives and risking more. Hours seemed to pass in moments. Ethan made choices, knowing each one had consequences. He could not control everything, but he acted with care, empathy, and logic. Finally, the simulation ended. The number of lives saved was higher than expected, but not perfect. Some refugees were lost. Ethan stepped back, exhausted, but determined. Queen Lyra's voice filled the chamber. You risked some for the many, yet you gave others a chance. You did not act out of fear or selfishness. You acted as humans can act when they choose responsibility over power. Ethan looked at her. I only did what I believed any human would do. We try to help, even if it costs us. Cyril nodded. This is more than words. The Queen sees your people are not bound to repeat the past blindly. You are capable of choice, of mercy, of growth, of growth. Queen Lyra's expression softened slightly. Perhaps, but this is only the beginning. Humanity will face many tests, and the galaxy will watch closely. One mistake, and the consequences could be grave. Ethan understood. This was not victory. It was a chance. A fragile, precious chance. Thank you for the opportunity, Ethan said. We will not waste it. Laura stepped forward. We are ready to follow your guidance, she said. We want to prove that humans are different now. Queen Lyra's eyes lingered on Ethan. Your words show understanding. Your actions show intent. We shall see if humanity can live up to both. The humans were led back to their quarters. They were allowed to eat and rest, but the weight of the test lingered. Nate rubbed his eyes. I cannot believe I survived that. Simulation. It felt so real. It was real enough to measure us, Ethan said. What matters is that we acted correctly. We showed mercy and judgment together. That is what the Queen wanted to see. Laura looked at him. Do you really think she believes it? Ethan shrugged. She believes that we may be capable. It is the first step. The next step will be when she asks the direct question herself. We must be ready to answer truthfully, without excuses, without fear, without lies. Nate groaned. I do not know if I can do that. I would panic. Then do not panic, Ethan said. Think clearly. Act from the heart, not just the mind. That is the difference. That night, Ethan stared at the small window in his quarters. Stars shone brightly. Even near the alien ship, he thought of Earth, of its oceans, mountains, deserts, cities. He thought of humans he had met, the kind, the cruel, the brave, the weak. He thought of himself, standing before the Queen, carrying the weight of an entire species. He whispered to the stars, We are not perfect, but we try. The next morning, Queen Lyra summoned him again. Her eyes were calm, almost curious. She would ask more questions. She would judge his intentions more deeply. But Ethan felt a strange sense of determination. He had faced the first test. He had shown humanity could care, even under impossible circumstances. The part ended as Ethan walked toward the Queen, ready to answer the next questions, ready to face the truths she would demand, ready to prove that humans, despite flaws, could rise above fear and destruction. The Aurora drifted into orbit around the throne world. It was unlike anything the humans had ever seen. Huge living structures floated in space, glowing softly, shaped like coral and trees at the same time. The sky above the planet was filled with rings of light and tiny ships moving in perfect formation. The scale was dizzying. This is incredible, Nate whispered. I have never seen anything like it. Focus, Laura said sharply. We are not tourists. Ethan stood at the observation window, silent. He could feel the weight of history pressing down on him. This was the seat of the Vesheri Empire. The Queen would judge humanity here, in front of witnesses from many species. The humans were escorted to a large docking station. Alien guards moved around them like shadows, silent and precise. Every step they took was watched, measured, judged. As they entered the throne world, Ethan saw other species. Some chained, Some guarded closely. Some looked afraid, others wary. It was clear that the Vishari had judged and contained many civilizations before humanity. Finally, they were led to the audience chamber. It was vast. The floor floated. The walls shimmered with soft colors. Above, a star map displayed thousands of worlds, some glowing red, some blue. The humans realized these were worlds under Vishari observation or control. Queen Lyra sat on her high throne. She looked even more imposing in person. Silver eyes scanned the chamber, noting every detail, every expression. Nobles and warlords surrounded her, some with scars, some with trophies from past battles. They watched the humans with curiosity, suspicion, and fear. "Humans," Queen Lyra said, her voice calm but full of authority. "You stand accused of carrying the legacy of a dangerous species. You have entered forbidden space, and your actions have been watched. You will now face judgment. You have entered Barding." Several alien envoys from other species spoke. Some demanded humanity's immediate destruction, fearing a repeat of ancient violence. Others remembered humans helping other species in the past and argued for a measured response. One delegate, Terran of the Soldesh, spoke quietly. "I remember a human signal that saved my people once. They acted without expecting reward. Perhaps they are not the same as their ancestors." Queen Lyra nodded, acknowledging Terran. But her gaze remained fixed on Ethan. She waved her hand, and a new challenge appeared on the floor, as a hologram. It showed a transport ship full of refugees from 3 different species, caught near a star about to explode. Fire and heat waves threatened them. "This is your trial," Queen Lyra said. "Your choices here will reflect the nature of your people. Act wisely." Ethan's heart sank. He could feel the eyes of the galaxy on him. Every delegate, every noble, every observer was watching. He had to make choices that were true to humanity. He studied the simulation. The refugees' ships were in different positions. Shields were weak. Fuel was low. Not all could survive. He felt the weight of impossible responsibility. "I cannot save everyone," he whispered to himself. "But I must save as many as possible, and give others a chance to survive." He began giving commands to the rescue fleet. He chose ships closer to danger first, maximizing survival. He sent instructions to others, allowing them to navigate themselves. It was risky, but it gave more a chance to live. Laura and Nate watched anxiously. They could not help, but they felt his careful decisions. "He is thinking," Laura said softly. "He is not panicking. He is choosing. Better." Hours passed in minutes. Ethan spoke to the refugees through the simulation. He encouraged them, guided them, reassured them. Every decision mattered. Some would live, some would die. He accepted this, even though it hurt him deeply. Finally, the simulation ended. The total number of lives saved was higher than the Vishari expected, but not perfect. Ethan stepped back, exhausted. Sweat glistened on his forehead, but his eyes were steady. Queen Lyra's voice filled the chamber. "You risked some for the many, yet you gave others a chance. You did not act out of fear or selfishness. You acted as humans can act when they choose responsibility over power." Ethan bowed slightly. "I did what I believed any human would do. We try to help, even if it costs us." Cyril, the advisor, nodded. "This is more than words. Your actions show intent, courage, and compassion. You acted as humanity is capable of acting, not as monsters might act." Queen Lyra leaned forward. Her silver eyes studied Ethan closely. "Perhaps your kind is not bound to repeat the past blindly. Perhaps you can learn from it and choose differently. But this is only one trial. The galaxy will watch you, and more tests will follow. Ethan understood. This was not a final victory. It was a chance. A fragile, precious chance for humanity. We will not waste this opportunity, Ethan said. We will act with care and try to show our intentions are good. Laura stepped forward. We are ready to follow your guidance, she said firmly. We want to prove that humans are different now. 2. Queen Lyra's expression softened slightly. Your words show understanding. Your actions show intent. We shall see if humanity can live up to both. The humans were led back to their quarters. The halls of the throne world were alive with soft light. Strange plants growing in the walls and ceilings. The air smelled clean but strange, sweet and metallic at the same time. Nate rubbed his eyes. I cannot believe I survived that simulation. It felt so real. I thought we were going to fail. It is meant to feel real, Ethan said. The Queen wants to see our choices under pressure. The results matter more than comfort. Laura nodded. I think we passed the first test. She watched every decision. She will know. We acted with care. Yes, Ethan said, staring out at the glowing throne world. But this is just the beginning. We must be ready for the next challenge. The Queen's questions will go deeper, into morality and judgment. We must answer honestly, without fear or lies. That night, Ethan could not sleep. He looked out the small window of his quarters at the glowing alien world below. Stars streaked in strange patterns, and ships moved like living things in orbit. He thought of Earth, of oceans, deserts, mountains, and cities. He thought of humans he had met, some kind, some cruel, some brave, some weak. He thought of himself, standing before the Queen, carrying the weight of an entire species on his shoulders. We are not perfect, he whispered to the stars, but we try. Let them see that. The next morning, Queen Lyra summoned him again. Her eyes were calm, almost curious. She would ask more questions, more tests, and judge his intentions even more deeply. Ethan felt a strange sense of determination. He had faced the first test and shown humanity could care, even under impossible circumstances. He walked toward the Queen, ready to answer her next questions, ready to face the truths she would demand, ready to prove that humans, despite flaws, could rise above fear and destruction. As he approached the throne, he noticed the council of delegates from other species. Some whispered to each other. Some observed silently. Ethan understood that all these eyes represented the galaxy itself. One wrong choice, one wrong word, and humanity might lose this chance. Queen Lyra looked at him with intensity. Human, she said, you have seen the danger. You have been shown fear, and you have chosen mercy. Ethan took a deep breath. He thought of children on Earth, learning to be kind. He thought of neighbors helping strangers. He thought of humans making mistakes, but still trying to repair the damage. We are not perfect, he said, his voice steady. But we choose to learn. We choose to help. Even when it is hard. We face our failures. We try to repair them. That is what makes us human. That is what makes us different from monsters. We may be weak at times, but we do not give up on trying to be better. Queen Lyra remained silent. Ethan could feel the tension in the chamber. The eyes of countless beings were on him. He had spoken truth, without exaggeration, without lies, without pleading. He had only described humanity honestly. We will see if your actions match your words, Queen Lyra said finally. But your first trial shows promise. You may proceed. Further tests will come. The galaxy will watch. Quote, Ethan felt a small relief. It was not victory. but it was hope. Laura and Nate joined him, smiling weakly. "We made it through the first trial," Laura said. "Yes," Ethan said. "But the real test is still ahead. We must prove our choices." Again and again, the humans were escorted back to their quarters. The halls were quiet. The alien world outside glowed softly. Ethan sat by the window, thinking of Earth, of humans, of hope. He understood the weight of what lay ahead. But for the first time, he felt that humanity might have a chance to be seen as more than their past. And so, Part 3 ended with Ethan looking at the throne world below, knowing the challenges were far from over. Humanity had shown care under pressure. Humanity had made choices that reflected mercy and responsibility. And humanity had a fragile, precious chance to continue into the galaxy.